Criticism of Bill Belichick, sure. Again, Spygate, not a good look. Was he the nicest to the media? Again, probably not the most warmest coach to talk to in the media. But again, his job's to win football games, not necessarily have to be nice to reporters. That probably shouldn't get in the way of his resume and what he's done. All right, welcome to the most official unofficial. It's your host, Double M. Real name Marley Mountain fan. We're gonna get into it. This is off the cuff, no script today. Just wanted to get it in real quick and talk about Bill Belichick, former New England Patriots head coach, former New York Giants assistant coach when Bill Parcells was the head coach over there back in the day with Lawrence Taylor and them. Anyway, Bill Belichick apparently is not going to be inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for the 2026 class. So had some thoughts on that. Most people assume, a coach with 6 championship rings, not including the championships he earned as a assistant coach of the Giants, is not getting in the Hall of Fame on his first shot. Pretty shocking to say the least here. Could be some politics involved. As they say, all politics is local. So kind of, look at that. Saw the report here, different places, ESPN, saw Don Van Natta talk about it. Apparently, like I said, Bill didn't get the proper amount of votes. Also of note too, really important too, because this is interesting. We don't know if New England Patriots owner, Robert Kraft, is going to get in as well. He's due to get in the Hall of Fame as well. Been really interested to see if both of them had gotten at the same time. I know they had some issues leading up to Belichick's departure with the team. Not gonna get into that, but we've been really interested to see if they both got in. Looks like Belichick's not getting. I don't know if Robert Kraft's gonna get in yet. No word on if he earned enough votes to get in the Hall of Fame as well. But just really interesting that they both would have got in there. Anyway, just kind of go off this report here from Don Van Natta Jr. and Seth Wickersham from ESPN. Apparently, during the voting earlier this month, Belichick didn't get enough votes. He needed 40 out of 50 votes to get in the induction for the Pro Football Hall of Fame during his first year of eligibility. According to the sources, four sources with first-hand knowledge of the outcome told ESPN Belichick received a call from a Hall of Fame representative Friday afternoon with the news that he won't be inducted in Canton, Ohio this summer. Several sources who spoke with the coach over the weekend described Belichick as puzzled and disappointed by his inability to secure support from at least 80% of Hall committee members. And there's a quote here from Belichick saying, and I quote, 6 Super Bowls isn't enough. Belichick asked an associate, referring to the championships he won as the head coach of the New England Patriots. He won, like I mentioned, he won 2 more as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants. To another associate, he said, what does a guy have to do? A lot of thoughts on that. So the Pro Football Hall of Fame, kind of its own separate entity. A lot of sports writers vote on that, a lot of media members. I believe Tony Dungy, who was with NBC Sports, former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, championship winning coach too, as well, has a vote on the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. So no word on who did or didn't vote for Bill Belichick to get in. Sports writers are kind of known to be, it's already hard to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We can go through cases of guys who were like really, really good and didn't get in their first shot. Again, kind of shocking that the guy who won 6 Super Bowls didn't get in. Could it be the politics? Let's talk about those politics. So we'll start with, the more recent stuff. Belichick, was fired a couple seasons back. Wanted an NFL job, was talking to the Atlanta Falcons at one point, didn't work out. Maybe I think a couple other teams are involved as well. And I'm taking like some time off. I thought he was going to pursue, the rest of his days as a broadcaster. I thought he'd be really good too. Bill opens up, man, when you get him in a suit and tie and outside of the coaching and outside of the hoodie, and he'll open about football. Really fascinating football mind, of course. But that didn't happen. Of course, he gets a job with the University of North Carolina. He's the head football coach there. We saw how the season went. But I think part of this largely has to do with more recent things about who he's dating. His current girlfriend, a much younger woman by the name of Jordan Hudson. There was that story with Pablo Torre, and about that he reported on his podcast, Belichick's and Hudson's relationship. Not gonna get into all that, but I know people. It's an odd relationship, but it is what it is. They're both grown. Could that be part of the reason why Belichick didn't get enough votes to get in the Hall of Fame? People maybe felt some kind of way about his current relationship. To me, that ain't got nothing to do with the football. And then you got the other stuff. We'll go back to, his career as a head coach, those 20 plus years in New England. And prior to that, Belichick, not the most warm personality, not the most friendly head coach. We most famously know, during his last few seasons in New England, I think was it season before Brady's last year? I can't remember, but they're asking about the loss they just had, and he's like, we're on to Cincinnati, we're on to Cincinnati. It became a notorious quote from Belichick. Like I say, he's very dry press conferences. Didn't want to say too much. Wasn't going to give you a whole lot. Like I said, if it was some real football stuff, he was going to open up to you. But usually, not big on talking to reporters. He give you just enough. Just a super dry guy when it came to opening up to the media. So could that play a part of it? Maybe. Those sports reporters feel some kind of way over the years about, well, Bill wasn't very nice to me, or he didn't give me a whole lot here, so now it's time to vote him, give him the votes to get in the Hall of Fame, and get this huge honor. We're not gonna do that. Then of course you have, we'll go back to, what was it, 2007, 2006, 2007, leading up to that undefeated team. Of course, they lost to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. But the Spygate scandal, you had that going on. Could that tarnish Bill Belichick's legacy? There was a lot of talk of that at the time. And, Bill's a cheater. He only won those games in those Super Bowls because of, he had, was spying on other teams. And maybe voters held that against Bill Belichick. Now, when it's time for him to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, you had the stuff with Tom Brady and deflated balls. Now, this wasn't Bill Belichick involved necessarily, but maybe by proxy, they looked at that as well, or a combination of those things. They looked at it as well and said, hey, you know what? We're not going to put this guy in the Hall of Fame. He's got way too many scandals, or maybe just being plain petty. I don't know. Maybe just being plain petty. The writers don't want to induct a coach with 6 Super Bowl rings in here. Is there some criticism of Bill Belichick? Sure. Again, Spygate, not a good look. Was he the nicest to the media? Again, probably not the most warmest person, coach to talk to in the media. But again, his job's to win football games, not necessarily have to be nice to reporters. That probably shouldn't get in the way of his resume and what he's done in the game of football. So yeah, Bill Belichick, like I said, didn't get 80% of the vote to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Pretty shocking news, and he got snubbed. Let me know what y'all think, man. Drop a comment. Why do you think Bill Belichick didn't get in? Should he been in this one? I think he should have been, without a doubt, regardless of all the side stuff, his girlfriend, Spygate, whatever. 6 Super Bowl wins is 6 Super Bowl wins. Let me know what y'all think, man. Appreciate y'all watching. Remember, hit that like, hit that share, subscribe to the Most Official Unofficial. I'll see y'all in the next episode.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is, please note, the new number is